The four major tennis tournaments, the Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, and US Open, are the pinnacle of the sport, renowned for their prestige and significance. In 2024, Jannik Sinner claimed victory at the Australian Open, marking his first Grand Slam title by defeating Daniil Medvedev in the final. Following this, Carlos Alcaraz triumphed at the French Open and successfully defended his Wimbledon title, overcoming Novak Djokovic in the final for the second consecutive year. Sinner capped off the Grand Slam season by winning the US Open in New York, resulting in a remarkable year where two of tennis's brightest stars shared all four major titles. This outcome was a notable shift from the previous year, when Djokovic secured 3 of the 4 slams and came tantalizingly close to achieving a calendar Grand Slam. The calendar Grand Slam, which involves winning all 4 major tournaments in a single calendar year, hasn't been accomplished in 55 years. The last player to do so was the legendary Australian Rod Laver, who dominated the ATP Tour in 1969. Entering the 1969 season, Laver was already a decorated player with 7 Grand Slam and 8 Pro Major titles. He was poised to embark on what many consider the greatest season in tennis history. Having completed the calendar Grand Slam once before in 1962, Laver sought to replicate this achievement in the Open era. His campaign began at the Australian Open, where he fought his way to the final against Andres Gimeno. In an era without tiebreakers, Laver played an exhausting 212 games before reaching the final, but he showed no signs of fatigue. He easily defeated Gimeno in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4, 7-5. With one title secured, Laver headed to Paris for the French Open, where he faced a scare in the second round, trailing Richard Crayley by 2 sets. True to form, Laver rallied to reach the final, where he faced Ken Rosewall and won again in straight sets, 6-4, 6-3, 6-4. Now halfway through his quest, Laver encountered another challenge at Wimbledon, where he again fell behind in the second round against India's Premjit Lal but ultimately advanced in 5 sets. He faced Stan Smith in a grueling 4th-round match, winning 6-4, 6-2, 7-9, 3-6, 6-3. Laver continued to prevail, defeating Cliff Drysdale and Arthur Ashe to set up a final against John Newcombe. Even after dropping his first set in the final, he emerged victorious, winning 6-4, 5-7, 6-4, 6-4. With 3 major titles under his belt, Laver aimed for the final slam of the season. He advanced to the 4th round without dropping a set, but found himself trailing 2-1 against Dennis Ralston, before winning in 5 sets. After defeating Roy Emerson and Ashe, Laver faced Tony Roche in the US Open final. Despite losing the first set 9-7, he rebounded to win the next 3 sets, dropping only 5 games, thereby completing an extraordinary calendar Grand Slam. The 1969 US Open marked Laver's final major triumph, as his performance waned after that season. He continued to compete until his retirement in 1979, amassing a record 198 titles that still stands today. In recognition of his legendary status, the Australian Open honored Laver in January 2000 by renaming Centre Court to Rod Laver Arena, a fitting tribute to the 3-time champion. The arena, which has become one of the most iconic venues in the world, has grown in prestige since its renaming 24 years ago. It has a capacity of 14,820 and opened on January 11, 1988. The cheapest tickets for the 2024 finals are priced at $499 for the women's singles and $998 for the men's singles. Laver's legacy continued to be celebrated when he was honored again in 2017 with the establishment of the Laver Cup, founded by Roger Federer. This tournament pits the best players from Europe against their counterparts from the rest of the world, quickly becoming a fixture in the tennis calendar. The event has featured top players like Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Nick Kyrgios, and Andy Murray, serving as a fitting tribute to one of Australia's greatest sports icons while providing thrilling entertainment for fans.